Robert Layton, our math scientist there,
Yeah.
one day just told me, hey, I think I can get a little bit of juice out of here to power some lights. Whoa! And instantly I'm sitting there with the drill, drilling holes and stuff, and trying to put it into the toy. And everyone that saw it was just blown away by it.
Welcome to Family Gamer TV. I'm with I-Wei Huang. Product design. What's your proper title?
Character and toy director. It's
Wow.
Kind of a fancy title for just say I draw and
Have some
deal
fun.
with the toys.
Look at your desk space. It's amazing.
I know. So in the first game, we worked with a toy company help us, make these characters. We didn't have high-res models, so they kind of remodel it for us.
Mm-hmm.
And so we give them all the assets we have, from sketches to in-game gameplay to the actual character models, but they're low res. And so what ended up happening is that I spent a lot of time, actually Paul and I spent a lot of time just going, okay, redrawing over characters, like the likeness is wrong, like the eyes are too big or too small, or like the pose is like, this is cool, but this is cooler. It's like we do that kind of thing, and a lot of hacking of toys, actually cutting arms off and gluing it back together in a different angle. It's just like, this is much better, that kind of thing. This time around it's different in that we have a 3D printer now, so we're able to print out like things like this. We have different poses that we can pick from. And this is the first time where with this tool it's amazing, because you get to hold it in your hand, and you feel like a kid again. This is a direct representation of the actual toy, right? So here we decide on like different poses and stuff, and obviously these two are really cool poses. I actually really like them a lot, but they actually don't fit in the box.
So
it's just like,
you get attached to one, you're like, wait a minute, there's a problem here.
So then it's like, okay, well, maybe we bend it back, and then it's not as cool of a pose. So what we end up with is this pose, which when you look at the actual plastic, this is an unpainted version. It's 1-to-1, except for the weapon upgrade. It's like it's pretty darn close. So now we're able to streamline the process so that we get to this as soon as possible, and we get to hold the toy and as a 3D print and get it enough of a feeling if it's going to be a cool pose, cool toy.
So in Skylanders Giants, is there actual difference in terms of how the toys are made? Like in terms of the materials you're using, or the detail, or the number of paint finishes? Is there sort of an upgrade since Skylanders, or is it an equivalent sort of toy?
I think we've learned a lot through this process. Through the entire first game, we've learned a lot of process. I was like, oh, remember that, or certain paint looks really cool, or certain process or painting, or certain details on the toy looks really cool. This time around, it's different in that, again, we model it in super high res, so we're able to get all the details in there. And we notice right away, as a giant toy, there needs to be extra detail, extra paint, otherwise it just looks like a low quality toy, at the scale it's at. So we added tons and tons of little details everywhere, and tons of paint. As far as paint job is concerned, we learn a lot more this time around. So we know, like, okay, maybe we can't paint every single little crack here, but we can give it a spray, and that gives it a nice effect. And so, this time around, I think the quality of the toy overall has improved. Not only the likeness, but just detail levels and everything.
Yeah, and I think you can see that in the Series 2 figures, which are the reposed figures. It's not just that they're in different poses. It feels like there's a richer toy there. Right,
and they're much closer to the in-game model now. That's one of the things I care a lot about. It's just we want that transition. It should really be 1-to-1, and some of the characters are a little bit off in the first game. We're able to kind of bring that back around this time.
You're looking at Skylanders Giants. You're introducing new characters, and obviously that required you to come up with new designs. And I've heard it said that you felt you didn't want to sort of overstretch in terms of how many characters you had in you to sort of produce. There was a limit. How was that experience of sort of trying to work out how many more you could make, and thinking, what are my limits in terms of character creation?
I think creatively, there's really no limit, right? You can just kind of create as many as you want, but we have a time constraint and the amount of people that we have, the talent here that we can pull it together as a game and as toy and everything, So I don't think we have any constraints on the actual creativity. Like it's not like we ran out of the characters that we can't think of anymore. It's just like, okay, we think we can get this amount of characters done in this amount of time, with our skill level and experience, So that's where it gets determined.
Yeah, and so the Giants themselves, obviously we've got some here. Was it a similar process that you went through in terms of iterating for the Giants? How did that differ from a normal size Skylander?
It took a lot more time. I think the normal size Skylander, we know kind of how it works, and we have a process. With Giants, it's brand new. Like I said, they need to have lots more detail, and a lot of times we would draw something, and get everything worked out. But then when we actually hold a 3D print, that's when we realize, oh, maybe we should rethink this, or maybe this part and that part needs to be different.
Yeah.
And even going as far as like Bouncer here, he started out actually. This guy.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, isn't crazy?
So it's quite different.
Yeah, so we went really far. I had tons of sketches of a robot giant because we knew that we wanted a giant character, right? So we started going to kind of darker Archean, and this is a really cool character. I actually really love this guy.
Yeah.
But he just didn't feel like a Skylander, or he could be in another franchise, right? Just like it's lacking that
Yeah,
special.
there's a sort of a serious feel to him. Has he got a name?
No, we just call him Tech Giant.
Tech Giant. Oh, he never even got a name.
No. And so through the process is when we realize, is when you actually hold this in your hand, that's when you go, oh, wow, and people were saying that to us as well. It's like, well, no, he's a little bit too edged up, and this gun thing isn't working for our audience and stuff like that. And which is, true, and that's when, Paul and I are saying there's like trying to figure out, we have this really cool game mechanic where he shoots, right? But how do you do a gun that is kid friendly? And we're saying how about this kind of gun? How about that kind of gun? And we realize we're doing this. Every single kid has done this before, right? Just
because at my home, we're like, no, you can't play with guns. And I love to pick up a stick and it's a gun, or like you're saying, they'll use their finger. So there's something about that.
Yeah, so
I'm not sure where they get it.
Yeah, so then we kind of got into this this final toy, which is like there's a certain amount of humor and quirkiness to him that it's just funny. You look at him, it's like he's got a gun, he's got a single wheel thing, and you just kind of want to see him move and walk around, and he's got personality, So in the end, this is a much more attractive toy than this guy is, for our audience.
Yeah. So. And I mean, I know you've got kids yourself. Do you think that what the characters they've enjoyed and have connected with, has that influenced the sort of way you've gone with your designs?
I think so. I mean, I show him some of the rough sketches, once in a while. I'm just like, do you like this guy or you like that guy? What do you think of this one?
Testing,
yeah, exactly. So he kind of helps filter, that out. And unfortunately, he likes everything. So everything I bring home is like, I like them all. So he's my boy.
Yeah, it's great. And do you play Skylanders together? How do you manage that?
We do. He's 4. He's turning 4 tomorrow, and he's a little bit on the younger side of the audience, so he can't actually control it. But what we do is that we give him one side of a stick, and then the Wiimote, so that he actually shoots, and we drive. One person, either my wife or I, we drive and use the other buttons and stuff. And he tells us what to do. He knows exactly what to do. He just doesn't have the got the coordination. He will figure out puzzles before we can, But he's really good at just kind of shooting, telling us, you got to get that first, then go get that thing, and so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, nice. And just rounding off, a big element of the Skylanders Giants and the light core Skylanders are that they light up when they get close to the portal. How does that affect how you chose the light cores, and maybe how you designed them and how you designed the Giants?
Yeah, so the crazy thing is Robert Layton, our math scientist there, one day just told me, hey, I think I can get a little bit of juice out of here to power some lights.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, whatever. And then he showed me what that was. It's just a little light in the, some electronics, and I was like, whoa. And instantly I'm sitting there with the drill, drilling holes and stuff, and trying to put it into the toy.
Yeah.
And the first one I did is Prison Break, because you got giant crystals,
it's a good place to start. Yeah,
it makes sense. So that was our first prototype, and everyone that saw it was just blown away by it. And I'm still blown away by it. Every time I do it, it's just magic. Even today. So that helps us. All the Giants have a light feature as well. So we consciously went into it thinking like, what part is going to light up? There's got to be something, and then some of the normal size Skylanders too, we just kind of had in mind like, okay, maybe that part and maybe this part worked really great. And then we also brought back some of the returning heroes from the first game.
Yes. So you've got all the giants that have that light up feature.
Yes.
Then you've got 4 new characters that you have in Light Core, and then 4 returning characters which you have in Light Core. So
Exactly.
16, which will light up.
Yes.
Yeah, nice. I really like Eruptor, and when you put him close, because it's like he's breathing fire, because you see, because it's right inside the map, and that was really clever.
Yeah, there's some characters that are just a natural adaptation, right? You just go, okay, this character would be really cool. That character, or there's certain characters we just really like a lot, and it's like, yeah, let's figure out where we can light up.
Is there anything you can talk about in terms of that process or potential new ways forward?
Not a whole lot. I mean, we're constantly exploring and playing with different ideas. We're all kind of mad scientists around here.
Yeah.
And we explore a lot, and we have a lot of things that we're working on that I can't really quite talk about yet.
Yeah, sure.
But the most important thing for us is kind of giving kids a sense of magic, right? Like this whole process of bringing a toy to life, it's just magical, right? And when you experience that light core feature, it feels magical. And so we want to continue doing that. We want to keep giving the audience something new that feels like it is magic. To a kid, it is magic.
Yeah, because for them, that's that connection. They pit the toy on and it's in the game.
Right.
Yeah.
It's funny, my kid, when I was working on the first game, I brought home Spyro and Gilgrunt prototypes, and they didn't have any, there was just plastic. There's no electronics inside. And they don't work in the game. And then finally we got the game and started playing it, and he makes a really clear distinction. The one that doesn't have the brains, he doesn't want to have anything to do with it.
Yeah, interesting.
And we actually wrote his name on the bottom, and just like he doesn't want to do. We never role play with them. They're just on the side.
Yeah, second class citizens.
Yeah, exactly. Poor guys. But
Yeah.
To him, like if it's not a real character, he doesn't want to play with it.
Great, well, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing what new crazy, mad inventions you come up with, because it's what makes the game so exciting.
Great, thank you.
That's all we've got time for this week on Family Gamer TV, but we'll be back with more soon.